In today's video, we will talk about a myth that Revit is BIM. Many industry professionals take Revit as a BIM. This situation is turned into a big myth now. 75% of the industry is facing this situation every day. Neither they understand nor they want to understand. It seems to be that most of the industry is haunted by this myth. Let's take a look. Is Revit a BIM? The answer is big no. Revit is obviously not a BIM. BIM is a name of standardized processes and it's a complete management system. So what is Revit? Revit is just a piece of software which is even not necessary to achieve BIM. Even without Revit, you can continue the BIM workflow without any stop. Also, using Revit in a project does not necessarily mean that you are on a BIM track. To be BIM enabled, you will have to comply with standardized processes of BIM. To achieve BIM goals, we use many software and hardware technologies, but under the protocols of BIM. Combining these technologies all together help us achieving BIM goals. And among these many technologies, Revit is one, but not only. For complete details regarding BIM, you can see my previous video with the title What is BIM, in which I have addressed the topic with enough details that what actually is BIM. Link for the video is provided in the description below. Now let's take a look why most of the people takes Revit as a BIM and BIM as a Revit. Problem number 1. Definitions. As there is no standard kind of definition available over the internet, and it seems to be that everybody is supposed to do its own kind of definition, as hundreds of definitions are available over the internet and numbers are still increasing. In many cases, I have seen that some people are directly mentioning Revit as a BIM. Problem number 2. Animations by Autodesk. While keeping in mind that Revit is BIM, when you see any animation, especially when the animation is produced by Autodesk, then obviously in animation they will discuss more about Revit features and less about BIM to market their product. And by already keeping in mind that Revit is BIM, when you see these animations, then it generates an impression that Revit is BIM. While in animation, obviously they would be explaining that in the BIM processes, how much useful is Revit actually. Problem number 3. Presentations by Revit users. Then obviously they will discuss more about Revit and less about BIM. Once again, by keeping in mind that Revit is BIM, when you see these presentations or animations, then it will generate an impression once again that Revit is a BIM. While in presentation they would be explaining that in the BIM processes how Revit can be helpful. But if the presenter is already haunted by the myth, then he may directly propagate Revit as a BIM, and it is happening. Problem number 4. Revit operators or BIM modelers. In the industry, Revit users, usually called Revit operators, and also BIM modelers. Most of the 3D modelers and CAD operators transform themselves into BIM modelers and then into trainers. In most of the cases, they are also not BIM educated, and they advertise and propagate about Revit as a BIM as per their own understandings. Also, they train others the same way and transfer this myth. This inappropriate or incorrect information is considered to be valid as it comes from the industry. This authentic source leads to unauthentic information and fuels more on the fire of myth. Problem number 5. Irrelevant person. Asking someone who is not a BIM professional or who is not learned BIM as part of the education. If so, there are higher chances that information you are receiving is misleading, as if the asked person's source of information is unauthentic or if the one is already hunted by the myth. Problem number 6. The reach. As you know that Revit is a product of Autodesk, and Autodesk holds large market shares among its competitors as their marketing strategies are huge and so their reach towards projects. Most of the architectural, engineering and construction related mega and small projects both are using Autodesk products like Revit. You will hardly see any project without Revit if it is BIM one. The situation also leads to confusion and generates an impression once again that Revit is BIM. That's how this misleading information is turned into myth that Revit is BIM. But actually, as you know now, it is not.